Everybody get up! Everybody get up! Everybody needs to understand that I'm more than simply a hype man for this rap group, just like Geico is more than just a company that can save you money. Geico also has fast and friendly claim service, so they can help you when you need it most. And while I do love being a hype man, I also love reading for children's audiobooks. Like Little Bo Peep, she lost the sheep, and she don't know where to find them. Go!
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Need to be enormously successful.
It's about truth, the damn truth, New York's truth, the truth behind the BS. For New York, nothing at all in between. This is Bernard McGurk.
Bernard McGurk.
So Bernie.
This is Sid Rosenberg.
The one and only Sid.
Live, local, on it.
You never know what's going to happen.
Exclusively.
What is this?
77 WABC.
December 7th, 1941. A date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
Somber start to today's program, something we're not used to here on the Bernie and Sid show, but certainly deserving of it. 75 years ago today, certainly before 9/11, the worst day in the history of this country, maybe even to this day, that's still the case. Commemorating Pearl Harbor 75 years ago today on the Bernie and Sid show, back here on legendary 77 WABC. Those words from FDR that have lived on and will live on forever.
Started it got us into the war had been raging. World War II had been raging for a few years, a couple of years at the very least, up until that point. And we got sucked in after that
horrible day.
That horrendous sneak attack.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Pearl Harbor?
You know, I've never been there. But when you talked on Imus this morning about seeing the Arizona underneath the water, I swear to God, you were talking about it this morning, Bernard, I was getting chills.
Really? You would get chills if you went out there.
No.
You go out, it's in the middle of the harbor. They have the memorial. You see the pictures of it. The memorial is right over the USS Arizona.
Wow.
It's fairly shallow. And so you essentially, if you jumped in, you could stand on top of the Arizona.
Right, not like the Titanic. You can't see that unless they go all the way down to the bottom.
You actually see the Arizona sitting there. Since December 7th, 1941, they've never touched it. Still like 1,700 sailors entombed in the ship.
Body's still there, yeah.
Body's still in the ship, the oil still bubbles up to this day.
To this day.
You stand there and you see oil bubbling up.
75 years later.
75 years later.
Wow. Never been there, but I did see the great movie, of course, with Ben Affleck and Josh Hartnett and who was the great actress, the skinny chick. She's actually good looking.
Kate Beckinsale.
Yes. And Faith Hill sang the song. It was really a horrible movie and didn't do that day any justice at all, but I did see it.
I never saw it, but
course.
Listen, the movie that for me.
Yes.
The essential Pearl Harbor Day movie is From Here to Eternity.
Of course, absolutely. There's not even a close second.
You never saw it, did you?
1,000 times.
Did you really?
Of course.
Burt Lancaster?
Of course.
What's her name? Donna Reed.
Rolling Up on the Beach.
Montgomery Clift.
Yes. Very gay, by the way. Very.
Right.
Him and Errol Flynn, I think, probably had something going on.
No, Errol Flynn wasn't gay.
Oh, are you nuts?
No.
All those guys, Flynn, Gable, they all had, now they had
Errol
both.
Flynn was a ladies' man.
Errol Flynn had penis at some point in his life. Just trust me, okay? Just trust me.
Those things are bad. We have Frank Sinatra in From Here to Eternity.
Another guy who had them both.
You had Ernest Borgnine.
Oh, the greatest of all time.
Remember when Ernest Borgnine was on Fox and Friends?
Of course.
And so they asked him, what is your secret to longevity?
Yes.
And he says, he said to kill me, like on the side. Apparently, he didn't realize the mic was on. I masturbate a lot. Ernest Borgnine, Fatso.
Well, listen.
He played, the character was Fatso.
If that, in fact, is the barometer of how long you can live, you may live to 200.
Yes, it bodes well.
Right.
I mean, when Borgnine said that, a lot of guys were like, yeah,
I do that.
Tell us drinking beers, too.
Yeah. You know, I wanted to start off the show today. I didn't realize we were going to start as we had to, which was a great job by you on that note.
Yeah, what would make you think we'd start off with,
I don't know.
Commemorating Pearl Harbor?
People like Jackson Brown or something. And
I wonder, do on a day like today,
well, you have to do that.
Do sushi restaurants take a hit?
You see what you did there?
No, I didn't do anything.
No,
I'm asking a legit question.
You buy an American-made TV?
No. I mean, like, do you know? I mean,
it's a great question.
I'm just curious.
The answer is no. We don't care.
It's December 7th. No. Let's go get some sushi.
We don't care. Jews are still buying Mercedes today. Trust me. They're buying Audis and Saabs and Mercedes.
Sushi has expanded from the provenance of just Jews. It's a huge.
Oh, huge. I love it. I eat sushi at least twice a week. I remember the first time I tried it at the electronics show with my brother-in-law Albert at the Omni Hotel in New York. I went remember Tom Hanks when he tried it at Cafe Society in the movie Big? He was like, that was me. Yeah. I hated it.
Right. Raw
hated
fish.
it.
I was the same way. In fact, I would always order the chicken teriyaki.
Yes, because me too. I did the same thing with white rice. Now I love sushi. Love it.
But the thing with sushi, of course, is the sauce. I mean, you could dip... I don't know.
Something nasty. Sawdust
wrapped in rice.
Right.
And, yes, it would be rat meat.
It doesn't
wrapped
matter.
in rice, and you dip it in that soy sauce.
Spicy mayo.
And it tastes delicious.
It's the sauce, plus, of course, it's the green stuff. What's that called again?
Wasabi.
Yeah, the wasabi.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
That's great.
Yeah, so good.
Good stuff.
I did want to send a shout-out to my boy John Parisi over at the Stone Creek Bar and Lounge on East 27th Street, a huge fan of the show, was at the Ranger Islander game last night, texted me, wanted to say hello to us, and then I was going to do it at the very beginning of the show, but then I'd forgotten, of course, that we had to pay homage to the...
Oh, sorry.
So you screwed Parisi over at the bar because you wanted to talk about this day, which...
Sorry, Pearl Harbor got in the way of your shout-out to...
Johnny Parisi.
Johnny Parisi.
Yeah. No, you can't. You can't do that today.
Yeah, I see.
Although we had a lot of laughs on the Imus show. We had a lot of laughs on the Imus show today. We were able to get through the.
Oh yeah, listen. Today's not a day to. It's not a morose day. It's been 75 years.
Is that what it is? Because even today, we don't do a 9/11 show. You don't do that here. I did that down in Florida, but here we don't do that. But 16 years later, it seems like on that day, you almost have to change the tone of your voice, like. Yeah, today is 9/11, and we'll talk to Mike Huckabee, and
yeah, but that's no longer. I have to say, here in New York, it seems to me that people want to move on.
No, I know that, but you don't think that even without thinking about it, that automatically because it's.
Oh yeah, sure.
So doesn't this day, Pearl Harbor deserve the same respect? Or because it's been so long, and quite frankly, most people listening to us right now, they weren't alive.
You give it the due respect and kind of move on. But to the point of Pearl Harbor,
yeah.
I mean the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe.
Yes, his son played for the Yankees.
Did he really?
Yes, a great right fielder.
I don't believe you.
Oh, absolutely.
Did he really?
Come on, you didn't know. You didn't know that?
Still, is he lying?
I don't know.
Of course I'm lying. You get 240 in 2013. You believe it? There's so many Asian players.
Anyway, Shinzo he's going to head out to Pearl Harbor over the holidays, and which is a big deal for a Japanese prime minister.
It is. Listen, they've been waiting for an apology at Hiroshima and Nagasaki from Obama. He didn't provide that, but he did go. And I think we've been waiting for an apology for a long time from those guys. I doubt we'll get it.
Yeah, but we did go. Obama did go first, and it was a tacit apology, which
I thought it was too.
It should not have been.
I thought it was too.
But in any case, what this guy's doing will be viewed as a tacit apology, as it should be. I think it's he's sort of a nationalist himself back in Japan. He's got local concerns, so he can't just flat out say, "Hey, I'm sorry." But just the fact that he's going there. And, of course, he's going, as I said, over the holidays because it's convenient, because Obama's going to be there.
On vacation.
God forbid they should all go out, today and inconvenience Obama, have to fly out to Hawaii and back to Washington.
Right, God forbid.
Well, let's wait until my vacation, okay? Shinzo, I'll see you then.
Wow, that's really good.
That's pretty good. God, you are a talented guy, I got to tell you.
Stop.
You are funny.
Come on, man.
My buddy Mario Salerno checks in from somewhere in New Jersey. Sent me a picture of his grandfather. I swear to God, he goes, my grandfather, Manny Budsy Perillis, got blown off a ship at Pearl Harbor. But thank God he survived. He did survive. But
he got what?
He got blown off the ship, not blown on the ship. As far as I know.
It always goes back to that.
You think that's what I was thinking when I said that?
I swear to God, I think it was.
We all were.
Yeah. All right. So, shout out to him.
His grandfather actually was there. Beautiful picture. Very handsome man. And he was on the ship.
Hey, I like this Shinzo Abe guy.
What do you like? What do you like about
I like the fact that he showed up within days after Trump won the election. He flew specifically here to New York to meet Mr. Trump, the President-elect Trump. So it looks like, we're going to have a good relationship. He's going to Pearl Harbor, and it's a good deal.
You mentioned this morning, I can tell if you're being serious or not, but between Korea and Taiwan and Japan, Trump is doing some things to his credit, and I'll give him credit when he deserves it, that no one does. No one's done.
Hey, listen, China is the big bully in the hood. They're building these fake islands out in the middle of the South China Sea. A lot of people, Vietnam, the Philippines, Taiwan, a lot of people claim those islands for themselves, and China's like, we're building a military base. They're just flat out doing it. And
they don't care. Right.
No. So Trump is, first he told all these guys, listen, you're going to have to pony up some cash here for your defense. But he's also strengthening ties, and he's going to build a nice little...
The anti-Chinese ties.
The anti-Chinese coalition.
I love it.
He's going to put them all, get them all together.
I stopped going to China New Store on Flatbush Avenue weeks ago. I'm done with it.
Right, because you're making a statement.
I am, for Donald Trump.
You're a patriotic guy.
That's right, like LeBron James won't sleep at Donald Trump's hotel before the Knicks game tonight. I'm done with Chinese food. Done with it.
General Chow?
I do kind of miss that.
You do. You like that?
It's fried and it's a little sweet.
Yeah, it's too good.
I burp it up a lot later on at night.
Please.
Terrible.
Please.
And the hot and sour soup gives me the trots.
It always goes back to
it always goes back to Sid's ass.
Yeah. I've heard that from other guys. To be quite honest with you.
Sid fell off his chair.
Hey, listen, so Trump is... he's been named the Time Person of the Year.
Yeah.
Yay.
Which...
There was no second choice, let's be honest.
But look, that's true. I mean, who were the runners-up? It was...
You had... who'd you have on there?
Castro?
No. Connell read me the list. It was like so unimpressive.
It had to be Trump. Hillary Clinton was under consideration. But
she
of course,
was there.
If she had won,
right,
perhaps. But so he was the guy. And you know who was the choice last year?
Angela Merkel.
Ironically, right?
Yeah.
Angela Merkel, who now is hanging on for dear life. She faces a re-election bid next year. And after letting in 1 million Muslim refugees, you talk about committing suicide.
Right.
She just let them all in, and you have, there's actually a crime. It's like the Marielitos almost.
Yes.
There's got this crime problem out there.
Yeah.
There was a woman, a 19-year-old woman, was raped and murdered by an Afghan refugee, one of the refugees she let in.
Yeah.
And her parents were delegates to the European Union.
Yep.
And these people actually said that in lieu of flowers, please send donations to the Refugee Foundation. I mean, some I don't know. I mean, it's kind of wacky.
I remember last year I spoke to Ben Weinthal. He writes for the Jerusalem Post, but he lives in Munich. He's a very, very good friend of mine. And he spends his time between Tel Aviv, lives in Munich, and the Bronx, believe it or not. And I interviewed him down in Florida last year, today, when Merkel won. He lives in Germany. And I said, how do you people feel that this is your leader? Your leader has been named the Time Magazine Person of the Year. And he was like, we can't believe it. She's horrible.
Right.
Like everybody hates her. Like really? Like this is the best you can do?
And this has been this whole thing. It was pretty much what she did spurred all this backlash. The Brexit vote was a reaction to the, open borders.
She started everything.
She started open borders and allowing, this type of thing to happen. And Obama started with the allowing refugees. And there she is making the announcement. I tell you, the funny thing about the Germans, like she could be saying, oh, there are beautiful lilies in the valley in Bavaria.
Never sounds nice.
But it sounds like you're going to round up the sons of bitches and put them in the camps.
It's the complete opposite of the French. The French could tell you, go kill yourself, you mother effer. And then when they say it, you're like, I think he said he loves me.
Yeah, right.
But the Germans, it's like,
right. Yeah.
It's awful.
You could be saying like, look at the beautiful little puppies playing with the kittens.
Right. And it sounds like, go shoot the mother. And
it sounds like, put a bullet in his forehead. This son of a bitch. He's disrespecting the government. That's what it's. But so anyway, she started the whole movement. It's a backlash. Yeah. This nationalist, a global nationalist movement. People are saying no. We're individual countries with sovereign borders, and that's what Brexit was. And some other countries have followed suit, or at least the sentiments are there. And that's what the Donald Trump movement was partially about.
Yeah.
And so we have her to thank for it. And now she, hanging on for dear life, is calling for banning burqas.
Yeah. I saw the Connell was talking about it this morning on the Imus show, the picture of the 5 world leaders, including Barack Obama. 4 of them are done. They're on their way out. She's the only one who's up for re-election. She's not going to win, but she's the only one who's actually running again.
The Italian prime minister just out. The French, Frankie Holland, as the I-Man calls him, Francois Hollande.
Right.
And
there was one more.
Let's see. There was and Obama is on his way out.
That's 3.
And there was others.
One more.
But this banning of the burqas is a significant thing because it makes eminent sense. I mean, their culture is being, invaded over there, obviously. You have the same thing in Sweden, in France. I mean, it's really a problem. It's not so much here because we're nipping it in the bud, but they have a major problem over there. So this, and also, but the banning of burqas is a security problem. Mm-hmm. You can't see if somebody has a license. You can't see their face. You don't know. It could be some dude in the.
Absolutely.
Right, so to me, it just makes eminent sense, right?
Of course, but it's too late. For her, it's too late. But I don't like it here. And I said this a couple of days ago. The beauty about this country is you've got the freedoms. I understand it's about religion and way of life, but why would you come to the United States and sit on a B train and wear that garb, covering your whole face, can't see anything?
Yeah.
You're here for these freedoms. Take the freaking thing off.
Seems anachronistic, medieval,
yes.
I would say. 1-800-848.
Throw on a tank top and a pair of gym shorts and let's go.
1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. Bernie and said, we have a guest next hour.
Great guest. The guy ran for president of the United States.
He hates Mitt Romney.
He does hate Mitt Romney, but he loves guns, grits, and Donald Trump.
Mike Huckabee. Coming up next hour on the Bernie and Sid Show.
77 WABC. Traffic and Transit.
Western.
Get in. Get truth. 77 WABC.
This is Masa of SoftBank from Japan, and he's just agreed to invest $50 billion in the United States and 50,000 jobs. And he's one of the great men of industry, so I just want to thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is and if you'd like to speak to him, you can. But one of the truly great men. Thank you. Thank you so much. You may want to say hello. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll see you soon.
Take it easy, buddy. Thanks.
Donald Trump, and the fund I think is worth $100 billion, right? So they're taking half of that money and investing it here in the United States. Is that right?
That's right. $50 billion. This guy actually controls or owns or something Sprint Communications.
80%, I believe, of Sprint. Yes. 80%. I think he tried to buy Verizon or something. I ended up with 80% of Sprint. There was a whole deal there, but
this is significant. I mean, you get the feeling that big things are happening.
I do get that feeling. Yes.
The economy. He's got this economic nationalism that is the centerpiece of his whole economic agenda. It's about America first, as he said in his foreign policy speech last night.
It's so funny, too, because back here on the Bernie and Sid Show, don't forget, presidential hopeful, a year ago at least he was, Mike Huckabee, is going to join us next hour. Again, I was at CNN yesterday, and you were at Fox. So at Fox, of course, they're still celebrating the Donald Trump win. They love him. But we know that CNN doesn't, And my segment was basically about how LeBron James and J.R. Smith and a bunch of Cleveland Cavalier basketball players will not stay at the Trump Soho. When the visiting team comes to New York to play the Knicks, which the Cavs will do tonight, that is the team hotel. They're not going to stay there. So I'll make a long story short.
Well, we have a cut of it. You want us to play it?
Well, before you do, though,
okay.
So I defend Trump, I think LeBron's being a baby. And my point was, look, I voted for Hillary Clinton. I did. I didn't like Trump's campaign. I didn't. But he won. And for better or for worse, he's the guy, and I got 2 kids, and I care about this country. And let's go. Let's support the guy. And he has done some things, even before being the president, which I think are actually pretty good. But they will never admit that there. Never.
No way.
And I started getting destroyed on Twitter, at Sid Rosenberg, from people who I didn't know who saw the CNN piece who were like, oh, hold on. So LeBron should just forget about the fact that there's a racist as a president. Forget about the fact that the president hates black people and women. And I was getting bombarded.
Unbelievable.
Now, let me remind folks again. A, I voted for Hillary Clinton. And B, my wife's biological father is black. So I'm not a racist. I'm the last guy.
There's a lot of people drinking the haterade, Sid. They're just hateful people, ignorant also. And, of course, they were... Trump was demonized and caricaturized, turned into a monster by these people, by the CNNs of the world. So a lot of these people actually believe what they're saying.
Right.
And so that, in that sense, that's where the ignorance...
That's what's disappointing, because as you're saying, you feel it, right? And he's doing some things that are
He's doing some
exciting.
really good things.
And they'll never, ever, ever, ever admit it. Ever.
Well, I think if Trump turns the economy, if there are tangible results, especially even in the inner city, which he's going to work on, I think maybe at some point. It's not going to come soon. You say ever, maybe you're right about that. I'm keeping hope alive. But in the meantime, Trump named Time Person of the Year. Last year was Angela Merkel. Oh, and now she's calling, that was after she let in about almost 1 million Muslim refugees that have pretty much turned into a disaster out there in Germany. So now she's calling for a ban on burqas.
Yeah.
And we're just wondering. I mean, to me, it's about assimilation, about doing away with a 15th century medieval mentality that
7th century
oppresses women.
7th century.
Why should a woman have to cover up her mush?
100%
Where
true.
are the feminists?
I mean, there are some that should, to be honest, because I just want to look at them.
Alan from Brooklyn. Alan, you were on with Bernie and Sid on WABC. Good morning, Alan.
Good morning. First I want to tell you that my granddaughter is marching in the parade at Pearl Harbor today with her high school marching band.
Which parade is that now?
In Pearl Harbor.
Oh,
very
really?
cool.
Oh, good for you. That's
Excellent.
Congratulations.
Good for her. Yes.
Yeah, they went from New Jersey.
You know what that's called, Alan? That's called nachas. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Believe me, I know. This burqas thing. Your picture is on your driver's license. Your picture is on your passport. They identify people on television, from surveillance cameras. You cover up your whole face except for the eyes. You're defeating the whole thing. Right.
It's stupid. A. B. It's oppressive to the women, and it's a security risk.
It's dangerous, yeah.
So it's on a couple of levels. You're right about that.
Although you wouldn't mind if Rosie O'Donnell walked around with a burqa all day, would you? Or
I would say
Ruth Buzzy in the good old days, or Rhea Perlman.
I would say a hockey mask probably would be satisfactory for some. And that goes for let's see, who else?
Scottie Pippen,
Seth Meyers.
There you go.
Yeah.
Lena Dunham.
Lena Dunham, oh boy.
Yeah, Lena Dunham, okay. I'm just trying to even it out.
Mummify her.
Oh, why are you being so mean to women? There are many ugly, fugly dudes out
very
there.
mean.
Look at that kid on Saturday Night Live.
Which one?
The nasty kid whose father died at 9/11.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the ugliest sons of bitches on the planet. That kid needs to wear a burqa. Yes, exactly right.
Thank you, Alan. Hey, by the way, Blue Shirt Buddha, following us on Twitter, at Bernie and Sid, and at Sid Rosenberg, says the definitive Pearl Harbor movie was not From Here to Eternity.
Oh, really?
Which Joe Salamino says George Reeves was cut from. Blue Shirt Buddha says Torah, 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 which I remember seeing as a kid.
Well,
the planes.
Yeah, well, that was
pretty good.
That was simply that was just the military aspect of it.
That's
From Here to Eternity had a great plot. It was written by a guy named James Jones, if I'm not mistaken. I read the book. It was fantastic, actually. And the dance club where you have Montgomery Clift and Frank Sinatra go to, it's actually a brothel in the book.
It's a brothel. It's a dance club in the movie.
Donna Reed is a hooker. Essentially, the movie, yes.
You sure it was Donna Reed, or was it...
Donna Reed, of course. Deborah Kerr was Burt Lancaster's
That's what it was,
girlfriend on the beach.
That's right, very good.
And Burt Lancaster was like, you talk about a manly dude.
Oh, he was awesome.
Remember, they're sitting in the club. This movie was made in 1953. They're sitting in the club, Montgomery Clift, Burt Lancaster,
all of them.
And he calls the waitress over. He says, hey, come over here. And she said, what can I get you? And he said, I don't want nothing. I just want to watch you walk away.
Yeah.
And he says that. Yeah. That's 1953.
Yeah.
That's so. It
was kind of racy for that back then, right?
That's what I'm saying.
See, but today they'll be like, I just want to stare at your ass.
Right. It was done in a way. He did it. He was so cool.
Very gentlemanly and very cool.
He was sleeping with his commander's wife. He was an officer, and Burt Lancaster was an enlisted man, and it was a very taboo topic.
Yes, it was.
But it was a great movie. That
it was
to me
a great movie.
Is the epitome. That is the Pearl Harbor movie.
I'm going with Pearl Harbor.
That I relate.
Cuba Gooding Jr. as a chef. That was incredible.
Hey, Michael is giving us a call here from his car. Michael, you're on Bernie and Sid on WABC.
Hey, Mike.
Hi, good morning, guys.
Hey.
How are you? Love
Good.
the show.
Thanks.
Thank you, man.
Okay, so I understand the security reasons why maybe not to wear a burqa, but I don't understand how you can ban a religious practice.
You don't understand that.
I mean, constitutionally, how can you stop someone from wearing a garb that's part of their religion?
That's a valid.
I don't think you can. Michael, it's a fair question. I don't think you really can you? Here you
can.
go.
I don't think. I mean, you need to override parts of the Bill of Rights for that, don't you? I mean, I understand a security measure for that, which really is where you run into the ethical debate about this.
Right.
But where does it end once you start stopping one?
Right. The next thing you know, the Hasidim to take off the tzitzis and the hats.
Look, the Constitution doesn't give you the right to commit suicide. It does, to allow people to suffer, and because as a security risk, it's a valid thing to make them want to take off the burqa, to take it off. That's A. And B, there's the assimilation thing. We don't want what's happening in Western Europe to happen here. We just don't want it.
But it does spit in the face of the
I understand that concern, but
you don't care.
Don't care. I mean, there are bigger concerns.
I remember getting killed down in Florida. I was half joking, but I wasn't. A lot of the folks that love Trump are also folks that are very strict interpreters of the Constitution. Never want to change. They think it's the most perfect document ever created. And I said once kind of jokingly, it's getting kind of old. There are things in there that maybe need to be amended, changed just a little bit. And I took a beating for it. But that's what you're looking to do right here, basically, right? You want to change some things.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Look, it's called common sense, and that's what the whole Trump candidacy was about.
Listen, if you
common sense, America first.
If you added a wild card in baseball, you can change the Constitution.
If you added a wild card,
that's
in
right.
baseball.
That's right. I mean, baseball was like so strict, and if you could add a wild card for baseball,
okay,
you can change the Constitution.
I see that. I see where you're coming from. And,
does it make sense,
Mike? It makes sense to me.
Really. No, it doesn't.
But now, I mean, I understand what you're saying now.
Right.
But
right.
It took me a couple. Mike, the baseball enthusiast inside, picked up on it.
They added two of them. So what does that say?
Yeah. Hey, let's go to Eddie from Staten Island. You're on with Bernie and Sid on WABC. Good morning, Eddie.
All right, three quick things. Time, I believe years ago, I saw it. Time magazine had Adolf Hitler on the cover in 1938 as Man of the Year.
I think Bin Laden was Time Person of the Year, yeah.
And I want to ask Sid two things.
Sure.
Sid, do you know the difference between a rectal and an oral thermometer?
One goes in your ass, one goes in your mouth.
No, the taste.
No.
And can you do me one other thing?
Sure.
When you get Huckabee on, ask if he shaves his balls.
Listen, every man does it. I'm the only guy that admits it, and I do it weekly, every Thursday.
Yeah.
Huckabee's more of an every 2 week type of guy,
Yeah,
I think.
The only guy that admits it. Look, you can't just let that stuff go unchecked. Of course, every guy does it.
Right. Not every guy, though. You think Mike Huckabee really shaves his privates?
I hope so.
I don't see that.
I don't see that at all.
No way. He's got droopy balls and hair.
He look like Duck Dynasty with I was going to say a big nose, but maybe not a big nose.
I hope he's not listening. Jesus.
No, I hope so.
Oh.
Hey, let's go to Cliff from Rockaway Beach. Cliff, you're on Bernie and Sid on WABC. Good morning, Cliff.
Yes, sir. Good morning, boys. My point is that, yes, the burqa thing should be banned, but put up with me for 2 seconds here. Let's take France. They brought people in to help pay off the pensions from retirees maybe a decade ago, maybe 2 decades ago, and they wound up living in housing projects and feeding off of the French system and became part of the problem. So now you have a cultural issue where they were wearing their burqas, but they've been banned, and they were allowed to assimilate into France because the French wanted to use them, hopefully to get jobs, and then their taxes would help pay off the pensions. That's my point, but it's my point with Germany, Spain, Italy, France, all the same.
Major problem. We don't want to repeat that problem here. We're not going to repeat it here because that's another thing the election was about. I mean, it was about so many things, and it was such a blessing that we weren't going the route we were going on, following the path and increasing the number of potentially undesirables into the country. It's just you got to let people in who share the same values that you share. You don't want to end up like Sweden and France, et cetera, et cetera. 1-800-848-9222. I'm being given the frantic, we got to go sign. Speak up on the air, Flitty.
Okay, I'm giving you the finger. How's I going to speak up?
You're killing me over here.
We got great content the first hour. We got Mike Huckabee in hour number 2.
That's right. Coming up right after this.
77 WABC traffic.
You never know what's going to happen.
Exclusively.
What is this?
77 WABC.
I've now gotten to know President Obama. I really like him. We have, I think I can say at least for myself, I can't speak for him, but we have a really good chemistry together. We talk. He loves the country. He wants to do right by the country and for the country. And I will tell you, we obviously very much disagree on certain policies and certain things, but, I really like him.
There it is, a little bit of a change from what we heard in the past from Trump about the current president, the president-elect, talking about Barack Obama. Donald Trump likes him.
Striking a very, very conciliatory,
yes, he is.
I would say presidential tone.
Well, I don't know what that
extending
word means.
olive branches left and right. And, I mean, even with Matt Lauer in general this morning on the Today Show.
Even with Matt Lauer. Do you hear what he said about Matt Lauer?
What?
Oh, he peppered him with superlatives. Pro, genius, great. I couldn't believe it.
This morning he did with Matt Lauer?
After the Matt Lauer interview, yes.
So who was he talking to?
I don't know. I got to get that for you. But there were 4 or 5 adjectives that were really over the top. Because I'm not a big Matt Lauer fan, but I guess Donald Trump is today. But he's a fan of every. Listen, he's the president-elect. He's the Time Magazine Person of the Year. He's the most famous man in the world right now. He's doing great. He loves everybody. What's not to love?
Yeah, well, what is not to love? I mean, you feel like there's something happening. You feel like there's something good, something really big happening in a positive way.
Unless, of course, you were like me walking the halls of CNN yesterday and you feel like you're at a funeral. It's fine.
Yeah, that's it. We were talking about it on O'Reilly. And, in fact, there's a piece in the paper this morning. Women don't want to have sex. They're cutting their hair.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, these liberal women, I should say, because all the women I know, including our producer here, and my wife, Carol, and I mean, so many women that I know are effusive in their praise of Donald Trump. They love.
You want to get pregnant. You want to have more sex.
Right, more sex now.
So I don't know, but there's some people, like I said, we were talking again on O'Reilly last night. They're breaking up with their boyfriends, and it's just, I mean, you know what? It's all this the nonsense that the media fed these poor people.
Right. They tricked them,
and they're just ignorant, and they're whiny crybabies. Also,
that's it.
I mean, just suck it up.
Couldn't agree more. Including LeBron James amongst others, but. Not Mike Huckabee. He ran against Donald Trump. He was part of the, that great group of people, almost 20 people that went head to head. And you and I love Mike, always loved Mike.
Yes,
he did a good job.
And not only did he do it, he was early on. He was as soon as he knew he wasn't going to be the guy, he went with Trump. And then in the days, weeks leading up to the election, he was adamant. Donald Trump is going to win this election.
He was.
That's what he was saying.
He never wavered. He did not waver. And, of course, he's the author of a great book. First time I got a chance to talk to Mike was when he came out to promote his book.
He's not here.
Oh, he's not here?
No.
But God, Guns, Grits, and Gravy is a great book.
You know who is here with us right now?
Who's that?
Bo Dietl.
Is he on the phone?
Bo's on the phone.
My man,
Bo, the next mayor of New York City, the Bo man.
All I got to say is I was with Donald Trump this morning at the breakfast at Cipriani's. I don't like Donald Trump. I love Donald Trump.
Yeah, see that?
Let me tell you something. He did something this morning. I mean, I had tears in my eyes. He talked about election night, the night before election day, and what happened with CNN with the 12 points down in this state, that state, and he was talking to Melania. He said he was talking about leaving the next day to go on vacation, with listening to all these pundits on CNN, and then when the woman's crying when he starts taking the states, and he started going, and he wasn't reading anything, and he started talking about that afternoon, that night, and the night before when he shot to Michigan, when he knew Hillary went there. He said, this state is in play. And he shot there, and he got home at 4 o'clock in the morning. He went to vote at 7. Let me tell you something. If you're not a human being, you're not a human being unless you got the feeling that I got everybody in that room. They had hundreds of people outside, couldn't get in, and he spoke. It was one of the great speeches I've ever heard Donald speak. Yep. And he was right on there. He made you feel so good about this country, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, whoever you are. This man will lead us, and he's going to lead this country, and we're proud again. We're going to be proud. Look at Japan. Look what's going on. He's done more in the last, since he got elected, than Obama did in 8 years.
Look at that billionaire yesterday pledging $50 billion, a Japanese billionaire, to invest in the United States. I mean...
It's unbelievable. Bernie, I know you've never wavered at all. All I can say, and Sid, whether you voted for Hillary or not, whatever you did, you've got to understand something. Something is happening in this country which I haven't seen in my lifetime. I hate to say it, but I even think it's bigger than with Ronald Reagan. He's got something going on there because you got a business guy going, you got a business guy that knows business and knows about cutting the fat away. Look at this is what we need. We need to get jobs. We need to get people back. And you know, he resonates to the black community also because he knows what the problems are. The problems are people are not working, and when you're not working, then you're dependent upon the government to take care of you. Get people working again. Get people proud of getting up every
dignity.
morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, but Bo, when you think about your own campaign, and of course, go to his website right now, boformayor.com, BOFOR, mayor.com. When you think about your own campaign, much like Donald Trump, you're a New York guy, beloved here, revered here. There are a lot of things that Donald Trump did. Not that you have to copy anybody, but rape anybody. But there are a lot of things that Donald Trump did that you will also implement in your own campaign.
One of my big things is, you know, you got this Big Bird de Blasio. He spent $19 million on special assistants, and he doesn't have to tell what they do. $19 million. Another $10 million he spent for attorneys because he's got 6 investigations by Preet going at him. $30 million is what New York is spending for Big Bird right now. You know what I would do with that $30 million? I would put a subsidy for people to take trains who have jobs and go to work and can't make their ends meet. I'd spend that $30 million helping people get to and from work. I would spend that $30 million helping these homeless shelters. This bum is taking $30 million of New York City money to protect himself, to fight his legal battles, and to hire special assistants. It's time for Big Bird to go, and I'll tell you what, it ain't a Republican, it ain't a Democratic thing. I want to appeal to all New York. They says, oh, Bo, you're not going to get the union people because he's got the union. I don't want the union executives being chauffeured around. You know what I want? I want the people that go to work every day. I want to help them make ends meet, and any way I can do that. I want to help every New Yorker. Sick and tired about Republican, Democrat. I don't care about that. I want to work for the people of New York. I don't care what is your party affiliation.
That's right.
I want to be the mayor to all the people of New York.
And by the way, the people who supported de Blasio, he sold them out. He sold out to the wealthy real estate investors. He completely sold out. They're pissed off at him about that, as they should be. But check this out, Bo. Yesterday, this slob de Blasio actually had the unmitigated onions and gall to blame Donald Trump for the several anti-Muslim attacks around the city. He actually blamed Donald Trump. This the guy who hasn't apologized for his irresponsible rhetoric leading up to the assassination of two cops. And he's got the balls to blame Donald Trump for a couple of drunken guys on the subway harassing a Muslim woman.
No one says damn word when he put the environment, when he shut the Brooklyn Bridge. What do you want, dead cops? What do you want them now? We had 2 New York City cops for assassinated because of the environment this Big Bird punk did. And I'm angry. And John Catsimatidis came over to me today at the breakfast. He says, Bo, you're the guy who's going to take him down. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to expose all the corruption that he's there and let the people of New York understand he doesn't care about anybody but Big Bird de Blasio. That's all he cares about. I care about every New Yorker, whether he be Asian, Jewish, black, Hispanic. You are New Yorkers. I am New York, and I want to be the mayor of New York. I don't want to be for special interests. Get special interests? Bye-bye. Don't come into my office.
You know what's funny about the whole thing is, for the Trump people, they kept waiting for the other shoe to drop ball for Hillary Clinton. The FBI, the Fed, she was going to go down. And just today, again, like he does a lot, Michael Goodwin in today's New York Post, so we happen to love him here. He's like sending out a letter to Preet. He's like, Preet, don't stop. Put this guy in jail. Put this guy in jail. So there is a possibility, much like with Hillary Clinton, that he won't be around anyway, Bill de Blasio.
I did. You know what? I did send a congratulatory note to the great United States Attorney. It just shows you Donald Trump is leaving a Democrat in there. He's getting the best man for the job. Forget about the party affiliation. Preet is a Democrat. He's leaving him in there because he's doing a good damn job. Yeah. All I say to Preet, I love Preet, man, and a lot of people don't understand. This guy comes from a very wealthy Indian family, Preet, and he's a great man. And all I just ask, please, Preet, don't indict him before July 15th, please. Well, just July 15th. Give me. Right?
Yeah, that's all we ask, Mr. Bahara. But so much for Trump the racist, keeping on guys like Preet Bahara and, all the praise that Trump was heaping on President Obama this morning on the Today Show, et cetera, et cetera. Enough of the nonsense. Let's make this country great again. LeBron James, put this crap behind you. Grow up. Take your thumb out of your mouth and stay at the hotel with your team.
Well, all I can say is that America is going to be great again, and I just hate when people are so negative to Donald. Why don't we give him a chance to make us all feel great? He's going to make the military feel great again, and certainly what happened with Iran, with our Navy sailors on their knees crying, that would never happen with Donald Trump. And how dare those Iranians make our soldiers like that? That was against the Geneva Treaty, what they did to our sailors, and he didn't say a damn word, this Obama. Donald Trump will not stand for that, my friends in Iran.
Sons of bitches. Hey, Bo Dietl, the next mayor of the
man.
Of New York City.
The man.
You are the man.
I love you guys. Love you guys. Love you guys. Love you guys.
Love you more.
All the love, Bo Dietl. I can't wait to see you in Gracie Mansion.
Oh, me too.
To share a meal with Bo.
I can't wait to sleep over at Gracie Mansion.
I think, right? He'll invite us, wouldn't he?
Are you nuts? Well, two best friends. I can't wait to masturbate in Gracie Mansion.
I knew it was going. I knew he was going to say that. I just knew it.
By the way, what happened to Mike Huckabee?
I don't know. I'm still trying to get him. Maybe he heard you guys talking about shaving.
Maybe he heard. Well, listen. Look, Harry's.com. Harry's razors. Nothing like them. Convenient, cost, and quality. The three things that make you want to go to Harry's.com to get a nice razor. 1-800-848-9222. Bernie and Sid back after this.
WABC.
We don't want people taking advantage of us anymore. We don't want countries taking advantage of us anymore. We don't want that. We don't want that. We want to be the smart people. Our focus must be on defeating terrorism and destroying ISIS. This destructive cycle of intervention and chaos must finally, folks, come to an end. Come to an end.
That I can tell you.
It's been. Believe me.
One hell of a waste of money and not to mention beautiful young lives. The folly and that we've engaged in overseas. Anyway, that's his message. That's what he should be having. The litmus test with the Secretary of State position should be that. Have you learned that lesson? That it's going to be about no more of that nonsense. No more Iraqs, no more intervention, no more Libyas. No more supporting, throwing out the Mubaraks.
Hussein, let him run wild.
Let him run the hell wild.
Do what they got to do.
If it serves our purpose, let him. If Bashir Assad, it serves our purpose to leave him in there to fight ISIS, whatever the hell it is.
That's it. Gaddafi, don't matter.
Al-Sisi, who runs Egypt now, he wasn't democratically elected. It was a coup. He threw out that scum Morsi, the Jew hater. We should have him to the White House. We should throw him in not only a state dinner, give him tickets to Disneyland.
Why not? Sharpton's been there 91 times.
Right. Obama won't even allow, he won't even talk to Al-Sisi.
I know.
Won't allow him to the White House. He should be like I said, a state dinner and a ride on an Air Force One
or what
to Disney.
Do it for him what Gordon Gekko, the great Michael Douglas, did for Bud Fox, the great Charlie Sheen, which a limo pulled up at his house with a leggy 6'2" blonde and a pile of coke and
Al-Sisi have at it.
He would love that.
That's right. He would. This guy he's a Muslim leader.
These guys, let me tell you, these Muslim leaders, nobody parties like these guys. Don't even kid yourself. Remember Demi Moore in St. Elmo's Fire?
Absolutely. Who could forget? No, but they do.
No, I know they do.
Look, even the 9/11 attackers, they were going to strip joints left and right.
The night before, they said tomorrow your country in Tampa. Tomorrow your country's going to change forever. And the guy's like, another shot?
Yeah.
He's like, trust me, tomorrow. And,
right. No, listen.
The guys weren't kidding.
They were not kidding. Look, so it's all about what Trump was saying there in those clips. It's about common sense and America first.
I'm a believer now, so.
And listen,
that's it. I'm in.
People don't appreciate crap from us around the world.
Nobody. F them.
They have no respect for us, and they don't appreciate when we try to help them.
They don't.
They hate us.
They eat our food. They watch our TV shows. They watch our porn. What do we watch theirs? I'm not sure. We may watch theirs. I don't know.
What do we get out of it?
What do we get? Nothing. And Noam, you son of a bitch. What is this email I just got? We're here for 19 hours a day, me and Bernard. We're doing 6 shows, and now you want 3 of our favorite moments?
I do.
What is
you got to keep working.
We can't do that. We're not doing it.
What's happening here?
We're out.
Me and the audience, we're out of the loop here.
We just got an email. You don't see it because you go check your email after the show. Mine pops up on the iPad during the show from Noam.
Right.
That he is asking everybody in this building.
Well, no. Just a certain crew of people. Not everybody in the building.
So we were picked.
You were handpicked.
Even worse.
To do what? Come on, I'm on the edge of my seat.
Our 3 big moments for the year that was, because we're about to go into a new year, for the year that was 2016. We need to write something.
No, record it.
Record something.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. What are you talking about? Do we need more pressure and more work?
Right. And no money.
My the biggest moment for me of the year was Sid talking about shaving his private parts yesterday.
Absolutely.
That was the highlight of my year.
By the way, Governor Huckabee just called on. He will be on.
Speaking of which, yes.
After the break.
Okay, 1-800-848-9222. What?
Yeah, but
you want to say something?
No, it's just going to be lame because everybody's going to pick the election. So
no, you can pick anything you want.
Well, what was bigger than the election?
What I just said.
No, I just gave you one.
What was bigger than the election?
That is big. I shave my balls every Thursday. That's a big deal.
Please, can I just...
What?
I already described what you did. You don't have to be graphic about it.
What kind of razor?
What else? Harry's. Always Harry's.
Hey, here's Noam with the news. Back in.
From the new
What do you use?
Studios.
A Harry's.
A weed whacker.
New York.
The president was up early this morning, 41 cloudy Midtown. Here's the story she'll be talking about, 77 WABC. President-elect Donald Trump has been named Time Magazine's Person of the Year. The announcement coming on the Today Show this morning, and Trump showed up by phone to talk about the honor. Host of other items he's working on as he gets set to move to the White.
Look, I voted for Hillary Clinton, too. I'm not happy with the results. But the fact is, I come to the rationalization. I've got 2 kids. Trump is the president. I've got to move on. LeBron James, host of other athletes, they got to do the same thing. So I know LeBron is very upset, doesn't like Donald Trump. But the truth is, he's the president. LeBron has no choice. Go stay at the hotel.
A woman in Montana says she can't date anymore because Donald Trump was elected. What is her basic premise?
The basic premise is she's too distraught. She had a boyfriend and she has some kids. She had a boyfriend and she was actually dating him. She was going to have a dinner and going to have a romantic life. And she decided to break it off because she's too upset over the election of Donald Trump.
Well, did the boyfriend vote for Trump or something?
No, it had nothing to do with that. It had just that her outlook on life is so soured now that she can't
interact.
That's right. So what has Trump done? He's actually improved not only the quality of life of these Carrier air conditioner employees, but this boyfriend, he spared him, this poor guy, this emotionally unstable drama queen.
Let's get the feminine.
Donald Trump.
Back in the Bernie and Sid show, there you have respectively Sid Rosenberg on CNN yesterday discussing LeBron James' little thumb-sucking temper tantrum.
Right.
By not staying at the Trump Hotel here in New York City. And myself on the O'Reilly Factor last night discussing some woman who wrote in the Washington Post how she dumped a boyfriend because she's too distraught.
Unreal.
Over the Donald Trump election. And, Yeah, so Trump actually helped that guy out.
He did help her out. You know, talk about two sides of the spectrum. I'm at CNN. You're at Fox News. But we were both saying the same thing. Me talking about LeBron James. It's like, enough already. Grow up. Stop. And this girl who dumps the ointment. It's like, listen, he won. What are you going to do? What is bitching and complaining and not staying at a guy's hotel? And what does it do?
Sore losing crybabies.
Well, see, LeBron James is a professional athlete. His whole deal is about sportsmanship. He is the ultimate sore loser.
Well, listen, true. But what I say, you say, what does it do? And why are these people stamping their feet all over the place and complaining and throwing these tantrums? There is an effort to delegitimize Trump, to sort of neuter him if possible. It's not possible. I don't believe it's possible. But there is that effort to say that, listen, this guy's he's not legitimate, talking about the popular vote, et cetera, et cetera.
Whatever.
And to try to inhibit him from enacting a prong of his agenda. Essentially, that's what it is. But look, on the line with us right now, joining us is the former governor of Arkansas, former presidential candidate himself, and all-around good guy.
Great guy.
Governor Mike Huckabee. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I guess that means I'm an American farmer.
Yes.
Some people are farmers. I'm a former. A former this, a former that.
That's okay.
Well, I did say current good guy.
Current good guy, and currently the author of God, Grits, Gravy, and Guns, and all that good. So that's still out there. That's current.
You know, that book, by the way, will explain why Donald Trump won. And I'm not just making this upward plug in the book, but the truth is, that book was written in advance of the campaign, but if people are just scratching their heads, and a lot of the people you're talking about, the people for whom there are not enough adult diapers to handle their wedding,
really funny.
If they would read that book, they would understand why Donald Trump won and why they got gut punched and gobsmacked in the election, and they still don't get it, and they're still disconnected from both reality and from the rest of the country that, frankly, had just grown sick and tired of the elitist snobs looking down their long noses at people across this nation who had been getting just devastated by the policies of the elites. And what we had on Election Day was nothing less than a bloodless coup d'etat. It was an overthrow of a government that people had grown to hate.
Yeah.
You know, to your credit, too, Mike, and Bernard and I talked about this earlier. Bernard brought it up, actually. You know, you were part of the original 19, and you fought a great fight. We happen to love you here. But even after you were gone, a lot of the guys that pulled out or had to leave, they still stayed angry. There was resentment towards Donald Trump, not you. You right away supported the guy. He was your party. Not only did you support Donald Trump, but you kept telling everybody from way back when, he's going to win. See, to us, that shows the type of guy you are, that even in a personal loss, individual loss, you put the party, the country, and all for the better, more important than just your individual loss.
Well, part of the reason for that is because Donald Trump was championing many of the things that I had gotten into the race to champion. The fact that we were getting beat up on our trade deals, that middle-class America was taking it in the gut, and that people's wages had been stagnant for 40 years. There were a few people at the top making obscene amounts of money by moving paper around and not really producing anything. But there were a lot of people who used to produce products and services and goods that champion the world, and they were losing their jobs, losing their pensions, couldn't afford health care, couldn't send their kids to college, and nobody was speaking for them, nobody was speaking to them. And so if Donald Trump was the guy that the people chose to be that mouthpiece, then, so be it. It doesn't have to be me, but it needs to be somebody who takes up the cause. And, I find it ironic that the press basically eliminated the rest of us as candidates by totally ignoring us and giving all the attention to Trump because he was putting eyeballs on every cable newser at night. And the result was that he was making big money for some of these networks who now have turned so against him. But they helped propel his message by giving his every speech unedited airing on every night. But, once that happened, my feeling was, let's get behind this guy. I mean, come on.
Well, they were doing it cynically because they thought he was a clown who didn't have a shot of making it to the Oval Office. And it came back to bite him in the butt, and it's a wonderful sight to behold. Excuse me, on CNN that night, when Wolf Blitzer called it for Donald Trump at 2:40 in the morning, whatever the hell it was the best, some of the best TV I ever watched in my life, with the long faces. I mean, it was like they were reporting on 9/11, these idiots.
You know, even at Fox, Bernie, I was there in the green room, and it was interesting to me, to be blunt. There were one or two of us, maybe a few more at Fox, who said Donald Trump was going to win, and people treated us like we were idiots. And I remember sometimes the anchors, after I would say that, would say, "Are you sure about that, Governor Huckabee?" I said, "I'm sure about that." I said, "I staked my life," and I said, "I tell you what, you can walk me down the hall and frog march me like you did Karl Rove back in 2012 if I'm wrong." Right. But I said, "He's going to win." And they kind of smile like, "Well, that's very nice of you to stick with him like that."
Yeah.
And then on the night of the election, he did, and I'm watching the same people who said he couldn't win, and they're the ones who sat there at the desk trying to explain how he did.
How he did. And I was one of those guys. I'm like, listen, I like Mike Huckabee, but stop. You're being ridiculous. I'm stupid, silly, all those things. I voted for Hillary, Mike. But now that Donald Trump won, and I said this just yesterday on CNN, which pissed them off, now that he won, I'm rooting for the guy. I've got 2 young kids. Yeah. I want the country to do well. I want him to do well. And I got to say this, whether it's the carrier deal or the deal now with the kid from Japan who's about to put $50 billion inside the United States, for a guy that has not been the president yet, not for another month or so, he's already doing some pretty exciting things.
Well, and this is, to me, very exciting. It's Donald Trump being Donald Trump. This is one of the reasons that I had no problem at all getting behind it. I knew it was not going to be business as usual. And I was one who was so excited that he basically thumbed his nose at Beijing and said, "I'll talk to whoever I darn well want to." And he took the phone call with Taiwan. We should be embarrassed as a country that back in 1979, we watched the humiliation of our friends from Taiwan being shoved out of the UN in utter disgrace. And embracing the communists. This was really a slap in the face to people who had mirrored a freedom and democracy platform since their founding. And look, I get it, the Chinese. You don't just basically step all over your friends to make a buck. And that's what we've done, and I think it's cost us in the long term, and now we've acted like we have to bow to the Chinese, and it's about time we say, no, listen, here's the deal. As Trump has said, if we have a trade deal, we're both going to play by the same rules. You're not going to keep screwing us around anymore. Bravo to that.
Absolutely. New sheriff in town is a new order, and that's right. We're going to stick by our friends, and we're going to do what's best for America. America first. I love that message. Governor Mike Huckabee on the line with Bernie and said, now, you've been a critic of Donald Trump courting Mitt Romney for Secretary of State. And Donald Trump has been, this morning on the Today Show, he was effusive in his praise of President Obama. He met with Rahm Emanuel, that little rat from Chicago, and he met with Al Gore. Is there any concern that maybe Trump is softening some of his stances, or any concern along those lines, Governor Huckabee?
Not really. I think Donald Trump is an incredibly shrewd guy who understands that if he can have the meetings, whether it's a good relationship with Obama or meet with Mitt Romney and let him believe he's going to be Secretary of State and basically neutralize him. Because now what can Romney do? Can he come out and make that same speech he made back in Salt Lake City? Of course he can, because then he'd really look like a weasel.
Right.
Right. He's gone. He's had dinner with him. I said very publicly that Donald Trump had filet. Mitt Romney had crow. But, the fact is, I don't think there's any way in the world he's going to pick Mitt Romney to be Secretary of State. And it's not, let me make very clear, a lot of people think that this is some personal vendetta I have against Romney. What people forget, I went and campaigned in 38 states for Romney in 2012, busted my backside to help him get elected. My issue is that precisely we went out and helped Mitt Romney when he was the nominee, because that's what party people do.
Sure.
So what he should do is, when Donald Trump got the nomination, he shouldn't do everything he can to try to hurt him. He should have done, at least at best, remain silent. But he should have gone up, sucked it up, and said, look, this is who the people in my party nominated, and I will go and help them because he will be better than Hillary Clinton, and that's how it's going to be. And he didn't do that.
No.
And I was very disappointed in him and in some of my fellow candidates who signed a contract saying they would support the nominee and did not. And that just shows a lack of integrity.
And all those guys, by the way, have come around now. All of them, all the guys. On the way out, though, Mikey, I know we have to let you run here, but on a very serious note, not that the prior conversation wasn't serious, but when I was growing up, okay, Nolan Richardson was winning games. Scotty Thurman was hitting shots. Will Arkansas ever be part of the big-time discussion again? Ever?
Arkansas, the basketball team?
Or the football team or something.
I know. Believe me, it hurts. It hurts deeply. Some Saturdays I have to wear a paper sack over my head instead of a Razorback hat. It's very painful to see. And let me tell you, I was one of the biggest fans of Nolan Richardson. That was one of the greatest coaches.
Yes.
He let me go in the locker room and listen as he revved those guys up. I'm going to tell you something. You know, I'm a basically short, pretty fat little white guy. And I was ready to go dunk basketballs after hearing Nolan give a motivational speech. I could have won a game for them.
Yeah,
back then.
yeah.
The man's amazing. I love the man.
Listen, I just Sid said on the way out. What about Mike Huckabee? What is Mike Huckabee? Where does he fit in a Trump administration? As I believe he should.
Yes.
What about Mike Huckabee?
You know, I was offered a cabinet slot, and it was a very nice and wonderful opportunity. But I told Donald Trump, look, I did not help you because I was angling for a job. I'm not. I wasn't. I want you to be successful, but for my grandkids' sake, not because I need work. And you know, there may be something somewhere, sometime that I may say that's challenging enough. But I'm really not banging around for a federal paycheck.
Gotcha.
Right. So there are a lot of people who are, and God bless them, and good for them, and that's great. But you know, I've been in and out of politics and holding office for 27, 28 years, and frankly, I don't need a title in front of my name to feel validated. So
there you go.
If I can be helpful, I will. But I didn't want to take a job just because it was offered, and if it wasn't a good fit and something that really made my motor run.
A very selfless statesman like Governor Mike Huckabee. By the way, your daughter Sarah Huckabee was a very, very able, great spokesperson for the Trump campaign. So congratulations on her success. And thank you, Governor, for appearing on the Bernie and Sid Show.
As always, thank you. Great job, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you. Great to talk to you guys.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, sir. Bernie and Sid back after this.
77 WA.
Hi, this is Maury Moreland Morrison, here to tell you Geico has more than just great savings. Much more. Yes, while Geico could help you rack up more moolah faster than you can say metamorphosis, they've also been the fastest growing auto insurer for more than 10 years. That's more like it. Furthermore, Geico has fast and friendly claim service. That might seem like an oxymoron, but it's not. All the more reason to say no other auto insurer has more than Geico. Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.